Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I have accumulated so much stuff recently, so I broke it down into face, lip, body, perfume, and then eyes. Another reason why I'm splitting this up is because if you watch my videos, you already know this, but if you're new here, I do reviews on every single product in a haul. That way I'm not just showing you new things, but I'm showing you new things as well as telling you whether they're worth your money or not. So that is why my hauls tend to be a little bit lengthy. So for that reason, let me not waste more time and let's get right into it. Viseart came out with their seamless setting powder. It is supposed to be flashback proof. It is completely weightless. It does not add any cakiness to your foundation, and it sets everything long term. This is a white based translucent powder, so if you are my skin tone or deeper, the whole no flashback thing, in order to ensure it, you want to make sure you're really buffing all the powder out, and I wouldn't necessarily bake with this underneath your eyes if you're my skin tone or deeper, because I have found that it shows a little bit of a brightness, shall we say, if you use a little bit too much of this or let it sit for too long. It is a beautiful setting powder. It is a drier setting powder, so if you have dry skin, this is not the one for you. The first ingredient is talc. So if you're allergic to talc, or if you don't like products that contain talc, don't buy this. I definitely way prefer the Hourglass setting powder to this one for sure. The packaging is kind of similar, where it has the little divot on top and then a net sieve inside, so your powder's not getting everywhere and you just get a little bit at a time. I just like other powders better than this one. Another powder that released was the Marc Jacobs Invisible Finish line Perfecting Coconut Setting Powder. Packaging is super cute, of course, and same packaging as the Viseart on the inside with the little divot and the net sieve on the other side. The reason why I really like this is because it has a tint to the powder. So it is a beigey yellow shade, which for me, I'm all about the yellow undertones. It sets everything. It gives you a nice natural skin finish. It is long wearing. It doesn't look cakey or feel cakey on the skin. I still prefer the Hourglass one. I do like using this underneath my eyes. I don't notice that it's necessarily super drying, but if you do have very dry skin, this might not be the powder for you, but the Hourglass one would be. I'm not sponsored by Hourglass, I swear to you, it's just that good. But this Marc Jacobs powder is a beautiful powder. I definitely would go through the whole thing. I picked up the Kat Von D blotting powder in the shade Light. This is what the powder looks like. It is a really creamy, smooth powder. I believe it comes in 3 shades. You're not getting coverage from this. That's not the point of it. It is categorically meant to blur pores and eliminate any shine and oil on top. So you're supposed to be able to use this on top of any makeup for touch-ups throughout the day without it looking cakey. I use this a lot of times when I'm just doing my makeup at the very start of the day, because it really does completely blur out pores and it looks stunning. I use the shade Light. For me, it works fine. Again, it's not a coverage product, so it's almost translucent. You can see there, it just completely blended into my hand. It does have a slight beigey yellow tone to it, which I love. If you have very oily skin, you can set your entire face with this and it will look stunning. It just looks airbrushed. This is actually a repurchase for me. It's the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Diffused Light. This one has more of a yellow, lighter tint to it, and I like using this to brighten my under eye and any other highlighted areas of my skin. I'll just put on my concealer, set it with a different powder, whether it's the Hourglass loose powder or any other setting powder, and then I'll just take a brush and go over all of it with this powder, and it immediately brightens up the face without adding shine or sparkle or making me look really ghostly. I don't get flashback with this, and you can really buff it in so that if you have a deeper skin tone, you're still avoiding flashback, but you're still getting that brightness to the skin. It feels like silk. It blurs lines, imperfections. It is a pricier powder, but I feel like it takes me forever to run out of these, and I just think it's such a beautiful finish on the skin. This is the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Powder Bronze 04. It says it's a matte radiance bronzer. I feel like it errs on the side of more radiant than it does matte. It adds the perfect amount of luminosity, and you can see it catching the light there, where it doesn't look like shimmer on the skin, but your skin looks so healthy and glowy and radiant, but you look like you really got out there and got a nice tan. Plus the formula is so creamy and buttery that I feel like it really smooths out the skin. It never looks muddy, it never separates, it never clings onto skin, and it's not too orange, so it gives me enough warmth and enough of a bronze tan look where it looks like I really was out in the sun, but without making me look like an Oompa Loompa. And if you have that issue where things tend to look very orange on you, check this out. The Marc Jacobs Omega Bronzer in shade 104 Tan-Tastic. This was limited edition at one point, and then they came out with it again, and it was limited edition, and so I picked a bunch up, and now it might not be limited edition, and I'm just sitting on bronzers. So this is what this bronzer shade looks like. This is just one of my favorite bronzers. It is just the most amazing tan bronzer. It is super neutral. There is not too much orange, there's not too much ashy tone, and it just adds a tan to the skin. If you are a medium skin tone girl like myself, this is going to be so stunning. It may not look like it's going to give me a crazy tan, but I personally like colors that you can kind of build up to, and you never run into the issue of looking muddy or looking too dark or looking disproportionate to your natural skin tone. So light and creamy and buttery. I just love how neutral it is because you really look like brown, like toasted brown. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Nude Bronze Light. The only catch with these in the color products is that since they're mixed in with the face powders, you have to be careful because each one is different. So this Nude Bronze Light is going to be different from another Nude Bronze Light just because of the way it's like marbleized and baked, which if you have a medium to deeper skin tones, if you have too much of the face powder shade and not enough of the color, it sometimes might not be pigmented enough to show up. This for me though is an okay ratio. It gives me a nice bronze and it works a little more neutral on me than it does orange or warmer. It is lighter than the other two, so that right there in the center is this Nude Bronze Light, which almost looks like it's my skin tone, but I personally really like colors that I can build up. All of the ambient lighting powders do deepen up once they hit the skin, but if you have super rich skin, the bronzers, I don't think any of them are really gonna work, unfortunately, which is so disappointing when a brand does that, especially a brand that I really love. This is the Guerlain Teracotta Sun Trio. So this is in the shade Natural. I used to have one of these way back in the day, and I loved it because it was 3 different bronzer shades in one, so you could really customize it and use different ones for different things. I really enjoy it, but I think I might have picked up the wrong color, because this pulls a little too orange on me for my personal preference, but it is such a beautiful powder. It's so buttery, it's so creamy, and they go on the skin so smooth. But you can see right here even, it's so like terracotta, almost like reddish brick on me, which is such a shame. There's definitely that perfumey powdery scent, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's super subtle and it doesn't last on the skin. If you get a tan, you can pop in a little more of the deeper shade, and if you lose your tan, you can use the lighter shade. So it's a little more versatile and you get a little more bang for your buck. This is the Lilah BB Sunkissed Bronzed Beauty. Heads up, this is the only shade. That's it. So Lilah B, please come out with more shades. It is the bronzer I have on right now. You have a lighter half and then you have a slightly deeper half, and I feel like the deeper half for sure has like almost a slight mild gold sheen running through it, and I think it might be in the lighter half too, but it's so subtle that you can't really tell, and when it goes on the skin it just looks like glowy bronzed skin. Also, this packaging, it looks like a pebble, like one that you would find on the beach to like skip rocks with. Don't do that with this one. This is an expensive ass rock. Another issue I have with this though is that why so small? Like, this is not a cheap product, but like, why am I only getting this amount of product? There is 0.32 ounces or 9 grams in this, and then in this there's 7.50 grams. What? Wait a minute. So this has more product than this does, which to me is so strange because It doesn't look that way, but I'm gonna take Lilah B's word for it. So that right there is the Lilah B shade, which on my hand it looks almost like my skin tone. It has this beautiful sheen to it, which I hope the camera catches. Yeah, you can see it a little bit as I turn it in the light, and it just looks so stunning on the face, guys. This is the Stellar Beauty Face Sculptor in the shade Nebula. There are two of these Face Sculptor palettes. One is darker, one is lighter. This is technically a bronzer, but there's definitely a heavy sheen running through there. A gold highlighter, and then a more peachy champagne highlighter. So this bronzer, it's so pigmented. But what I'm really here for are these highlighters. They're so creamy, soft, and buttery. And I mean, oh my god, they're like foiled. I have been dying to show this to you guys because I feel like no one really talks about Stellar Beauty, and especially I haven't heard anybody talk about this palette. I'm taking this Little Makeup Forever 150W brush, and I'm literally boop, boop. That's all I have on my brush. Okay, ready? Do you see that? And I can do it again. Let's do it again. Let's pump this up. Look at that. It's like reflective. I love this on the cheeks. I love this on the eyes. I use this on the inner corners a lot to really brighten them up. But like, holy smokes. For being a true powder, it sits on the skin so beautifully where it doesn't look powdery or make your skin look wrinkly. So this is the Black Up with Jennie Jenkins Highlighting Palette 01. It's a quad of highlighting powders. You get a lighter champagne gold, you get a true like yellowy gold, a copper bronze, and then almost like a glitter top coat. They're so creamy, buttery soft, and pigmented. Look at that. What? These four are the Black Up quad, and this is the top coat. This is the lighter quad, and there's another deeper quad. But I really love mixing these two together. They just make the skin look like molten gold on a medium skin tone. This is the Prismagic Highlighting Trio from Kevyn Aucoin. Every brand has something duochrome now. I'm kind of over it, to be honest, but this formula is what really caught me by surprise because it is that true top coat formula. It's not just another highlighting powder. On their own, they're such blinding, stunning colors, and they have a true foiled effect, but you can still see the skin underneath it, which I think makes it so versatile to use as a highlighter or as like an eyeshadow. When you put these over black, like a black base, they look insane. I mean, this is on my skin, but right here is how it looks on top of black, and right here is how the blue looks on top of black. So imagine just taking a black cream shadow or black eyeliner, getting all over your lid, blending it out a little bit, and then just pop this all over the lid. Like, that's so stunning to me. I think that the formula is so fun and versatile, and it's a lot more creative than a lot of other just basic duochrome powders. Something that is a little more of a basic duochrome powder is this Milk Makeup Holographic Powder Quad. It is exactly that. It is 4 powders that are holographic that come together. It is a pretty quad. The powders are creamy, they're nice, they're lightweight, they look nice on the skin. Nothing crazy to write home about. If you love holographic colors, this is a nice quad, but there's so many options, and if you don't necessarily want to be spending a Milk Makeup price on 4 holographic colors, you can do Wet n Wild, you can do Makeup Revolution, you can do so many other brands that are way less expensive. So for me, this is just kind of like okay. I picked up the Kat Von D Metal Crush palette. For all the smack I've been talking about duochromes, this is a colorful highlighter trio. Similar to the Kevyn Aucoin palette, the reason I love this is because of the formula and the texture of the powders. These are glitter highlighters. They are incredibly pigmented colors. You have like a peachy pink, you have a brighter violet pink, and then you have kind of this greeny gold, and they just look, when you blend them out onto the cheekbones, so stunning because of that glitter. Let's just do it. I'm gonna go into this shade, which is Rose Shock. and it just amps it up. I mean, you can blend it on top of a gold. Like, I have so much gold on my face right now, and it doesn't necessarily make it duochrome. It just makes it super, super intense. And if you get up close to me, which no one should be anyways, I'm just kidding, but not really, you'll be able to see the glitter, and when it hits the light, like especially sunlight, oh my goodness, it's so stunning in sunlight because you really get that glittery effect to the skin, but it's so finely milled that it just looks a lot more sophisticated, and it's technically limited edition. Nars just released their Orgasm collection, which is an extension of a lip gloss, a lip balm, and this shimmery powder. It's an illuminator, a loose powder illuminator in the shade Orgasm, and I find that it is stunning as a highlighter if it works for you and your skin tone as a highlighter, and I love it as a blush topper. For me, it's kind of right in between, so I can't use it alone as a blush. It doesn't have enough pigment to it, but I can't use it alone as a highlighter because it's a little too pigmented. So what I kind of do when I'm using this is I'll apply my blush, I'll apply my highlighter, and then I'll just take this and kind of do a broad sweep over my blush and my highlighter to give myself that really glowy look. So you can even see it on my hand. It almost matches my skin tone, but you get that touch of peach and that touch of gold. I find that it just adds another dimension to your already existing makeup. It is a little expensive for 2.5 grams, but you're using so little of it that you shouldn't really be running through it. I also have the Orgasm liquid blush from Nars. I put it on with a damp beauty sponge on my cheeks before I use a face powder. So although I'm not using it alone as a liquid blush and I am setting it, I find that there's enough pigmentation where I can still see the blush and I can put on another blush over it, and it just helps my blush overall to last a lot longer. A little bit goes a very, very long way. So like even just that one drop, like it covers so much area. From Kevyn Aucoin is the Neo Blush in the shade Rose Cliff. This is Golden Rose. I have this on my cheeks right now for my blush, and first off, hold up. Such a small blush. In the photos, for some reason, I thought it was going to be the size of like the setting powder highlighters, and then I got this and I was like, where's the rest of it? But it has 6.8 grams or 0.2 ounces, which is still a little on the light side in my personal opinion, but it is beautiful product. It is so stinking pigmented, and what's cool about these Neo blushes is you actually have like a bunch of blushes in one. So you have a lighter highlighter shade, you have the middle kind of brighter shade, and then you have the deeper, I guess you could say like contouring blush shade, and then you have the pieces that kind of overlap over both of them, so you get the best of everything. You can absolutely dust your brush right through all three shades and apply it. It will look beautiful. You can kind of pick and select what areas you want. Today I'm like right in this area. It's actually very convenient that it's so small and sleek, but I kind of do wish I had a little more product for how much I'm paying for this. Not a new formula, but definitely a new shade. This is the Ambient Strobe Lighting Blush in Euphoric Fusion. So this has a really nice champagne strobe highlighting powder as the base, and then you have this bright berry kind of shade running through it. I love it on the cheeks. I love it on the eyes too. I just feel like they add such a beautiful luminosity to the skin. Another product that's not necessarily new in formula, but definitely new in shade is the Bobbi Brown Highlighting Powder in Moon Glow. When you swatch it, it shows up a little bit lighter than it does in the pan because it really works off of your natural skin tone. This is one of those gel powder formulas, so it sits on the skin so beautifully. I had this on before I put on the Stellar Beauty stuff with the Black Up Quad. Moon Glow, if you have my skin tone or deeper, is like the perfect golden highlight shade. Here, these are both Huda Beauty highlighter palettes. This is her winter highlighter palette, and then this is her Bronze Sands Edition 3D highlighter palette. This one, technically limited edition, but it's still on the Sephora website. This one, I'm pretty sure, is permanent. Both of these are created with the same concept. You have 4 products inside, so 1 cream, and then you get 3 powders. So in the winter palette, everything was really kind of icy, duochrome. The color impact is very similar to the Kevyn Aucoin ones. So her cream highlighter in this is a pearly highlighter cream with a pink duochrome to it. All very pigmented. So Arctic Glow, Winter Rose, and Northern Lights. I think these are such stunning powders. All her palettes, I've never been disappointed. The powders are true powders, but they are very creamy. They're almost like pressed pigments, kind of. You get this beautiful foiled effect. And for somebody who was just saying that she was over the duochrome phase, these are things that I've already purchased over the last few months. Okay, I don't plan on purchasing things in the future. I'm just gonna shut up because that could be a total lie, and I could definitely go out and buy more duochrome things, but these are just duochromes done very beautifully. The Bronze Sands edition is definitely bronze focused, so if you have very fair skin tones all the way to around my skin tone, these are probably gonna be a little too deep for you to use as a highlighter, but you can use it on the eyes, on the cheeks, as blushes, as bronzers, as bronze toppers, blush toppers. You have your cream highlight, which is a true bronzy shade. That was a terrible swatch. Let's try this again. This is gonna look so beautiful on the face, but also like on the body. So you have Maldives, Bora Bora, and Aruba. Really well pigmented, beautiful foiled, almost metallic effect. Just so creamy and buttery, and they sit beautifully on the skin. Don't emphasize texture. The last two items I have for you guys are pretty brand new from CoverFX. They're two new setting sprays. So you have the High Performance Setting Spray and the Dewy Finish Setting Spray. The High Performance Setting Spray is basically supposed to be hairspray for your face. It's gonna lock you in, it's gonna block humidity, block sweat, it's gonna be waterproof. And then the Dewy Finish Spray is going to give you a luminosity, a radiance, a little more hydration, but still while locking in your makeup. So the High Performance Spray, in theory, I love it. I find that it does really lock my makeup down, and funnily enough, if you spritz this and you get it on any other surface, you can feel it. Like it really, there's like a tack to this spray. Your skin doesn't feel tacky, but like when you touch it, it really is like, whoa, that really is kind of like hairspray for the face. I have kind of an issue with the spray of this. It's a really fine mist. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this. It randomly spurts out heavy droplets. If you're not careful and if you don't like keep it moving while you're spraying, you end up with droplets on your face, which just bugs me because you don't want to put all your effort into doing your makeup only to end up with droplets on your face. The Dewy Finish Spray though, I love. This is like a milder version of the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Mist. If that one is too much for you, try this out. It sets everything, it melts your makeup together, it adds this amazing luminosity, it catches your highlights so beautifully without making you look greasy or oily. Plus, the spray on this is so fine and it feels like you're almost pumping air onto your skin and you get none of those little like random aggressive droplets. In fact, let's just pop some on. Even that, I feel like just really adds some life back into my skin and really melts my highlight down. We finally made it to the end of this video. If you guys are still here with me, you're a real one. I'm so sorry these videos get so long, guys. I just find that hauls with reviews are usually a little more helpful because you can see what's really worth it and what's not. There's so much information out there. There's so many products, so many new releases, and it's kind of hard to keep up. So that's what I like to do, is test everything and tell you guys based off of skin type, skin tone, what's worth it, what's not. But leave a comment down below for me and let me know whether you like these hauls with reviews or whether you just prefer out of the box hauls. I'm curious, so let me know and I can definitely adjust my videos accordingly. But until my next video, thank you guys as always so much for tuning in and I'll catch you soon. Bye!